Harvard University is one of the most prestigious educational institutes in the world. And at the front of the university hall is a statue. And on the front of this statue is a plaque. And on the plaque, it has these three things written. It says, John Harvard, founder, 1638. Now, one would assume that with that written on the front of the statue, that you could look at this statue and actually believe that this is in fact a statue of John Harvard, that he is the founder, and that it was founded in 1638. However, history records the beginnings of Harvard somewhat differently, and over the years, this statue has become known as the Statue of Three Lies. You see, history records that the university wanted to honour John Harvard by sculpting a statue of him. One problem: John Harvard wasn't a particularly attractive person, and so the artist decided it would be far better to grab a student model to represent a male likeness for the time and day. Further to that, we also know that John Harvard wasn't in fact the founder of Harvard University, but rather he came on board a little later on when they were in need of some money, and he made a considerable donation which helped the university to continue. And the other thing we know is that Harvard University wasn't actually founded in 1638, but rather it was founded in 1636. So we have this plaque emblazoned on the front of this statue that doesn't actually represent the truth of what that statue is supposed to represent. I can't help but notice that there are some parallels between that statue and how some people actually live their lives. It would seem that lots of people present as something they're not. That they tend to live their life with a plaque on the front of them that describes who they are and how they live, but in actual fact it doesn't represent the truth of who they really are. I mean, think about it, we all do it. If I'm really honest, I'm thinking about the way in which you are going to receive the words that I'm saying today. So the words I choose are somehow shaped in a particular way that will present a picture to you of who I am. I even thought about the clothes that I would put on today and what that would say about me and who you would understand me to be. And of course, this continues right across our culture, through our conversations and the way we do life. The music we listen to, the movies we see, the experiences we pursue, the friends we keep, they all say something about the person that we are, and probably say even more about the person that we want to be known as. It leaves us with a question, doesn't it? What happens to the real me? What happens to the person that is actually inside? To the one that doesn't get to be given the light of day because it is squashed and pushed in and never allowed to be revealed, because we put on this false self and desire to be known as something that we're not. I wonder if one of the reasons we pursue this false self is because we've actually stopped believing that who we are is enough. It's interesting to note that every week it's communicated to us through advertising that who we are is not enough. You see, the basic script for any advertisement in our culture goes like this. This is you, somehow you are dysfunctional, here is our product, and you plus our product equals complete. And this is communicated to us thousands of times every week. It's any wonder we've stopped believing that who I am, what I have, and how I live is enough. But I have to wonder, what would happen if we stopped believing that lie? And I wonder what would happen if we started to embrace the truth that who we are and what we were created to be is worth discovering. You see, I happen to believe there's an alternative story. At the beginning of time, God was creating, putting the land into being, the sky into being, vegetation, animals, the birds in the sky, the streams throughout the land. And he took his time to pause and reflect that it was good. It was good. It was good. And then, of course, he got to human beings, the pinnacle of his creation. And it wasn't just good, it was very good. As he took his time to carefully craft people into his own likeness and his own image, he was able to see the wonder, the beauty, and the majesty that resides within each and every one of them. And I wonder whether we should be giving ourselves the time to allow that wonder, that beauty, and that majesty to be on display for all to see. We start to see this in and through the life of Jesus. We see this beauty, this wonder start to be lived in full view of the world that he was a part of. And I think it gives us some clues about how it is we can allow that to occur as we observe his life and as we aim to follow him with our lives. I love the way the Gospel of John records the beginning of Jesus' life. He says these things, speaking of Jesus, he says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That he was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made, and without him nothing was made that has been made." He goes on to say that in him, that is Jesus, was life, and that life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I sometimes think that when we try and put on this false self, that we are allowing ourselves to be engulfed by the darkness, and that the light within us, the true self that is there to be shone, sometimes is just not given the light of day. I wonder how different our lives would look if we were to touch the truth of who we are deep within us, and we were free to live the light and the life that was placed deep within us. You see, this light, this life has been present since the beginning of time. It began with Jesus, and it is in you today through Jesus. We are full colour, one-off originals. Why anyone would spend their lives trying to be a black and white photocopy of anyone else is just beyond me. My hope is that you can know this truth, that the Christ that lives in you would be given the freedom to shine, and consequently, the real you would live freely and fully.